Hey there, this is Sean McGowan for Acoustic Guitar. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Pocket Acoustic Amp by Palmer. Palmer Musical Instruments is based out of Germany, and this is a preamp in their line of diminutive-sized, very affordable preamps. They have the Pocket Amp series for bass, for electric guitar, and of course the Acoustic Pocket Amp. And this preamp is designed for use with essentially any acoustic instrument with a pickup source, such as acoustic bass, mandolin, fiddle, anything with a pickup, and of course acoustic guitar. At a street price of $149, it's very affordable, and as you can see, it's an extremely portable grab-and-go preamp for all of your acoustic needs. So let's take a little closer look at this and what it can do. I'm playing a guitar outfitted with K&K pickups going into a Henriksen Bud amplifier, and right now the Acoustic Pocket Amp is set fairly flat. I have the EQ pretty neutral. Highs and bass are just right at 12 o'clock. Got a little bit of a mid boost, and right now I'm on the acoustic guitar mode setting, which is a low end roll off, and the style is set on vintage. So here's just that particular tone, and the blend is about 2 o'clock. So here's just a little fingerstyle piece set in this vintage style in the acoustic guitar mode. All right, now I'm going to play the same thing, but I've tweaked a couple of things. I've actually left the EQ the same, which is relatively flat, and I've left the gain and the blend the same. The only thing I've changed is now the mode is in the AB setting, which I believe stands for acoustic bass, which is essentially a full range setting that I prefer actually. And in the style, now it's in a modern style. So it's subtle, but the difference is there. So I'm going to play the same thing so you can hear the difference. Okay, now I'm going to play a little blues, and I thought it would be helpful to toggle through the different mode and style settings so you can hear them. So I'm just playing with the pick, and just here's an open E chord with the AB setting set to the flat style. The EQ is set pretty modestly, or it's just flat. I've got a little tiny bit of a boost, just under 600 hertz. So anyway, here's the AB mode with the flat style. Now here's the AG style, or AG mode rather. So you can hear there's a bass cut there, bass roll off. And then here's the magnetic mode. Back to the full range AB mode. Now let's quickly toggle through the styles. So right now it's flat. Here's the modern, still in AB mode. And then the vintage style. So you can hear these settings are a little more subtle than the changes in mode. I'm going to go back to flat now. We'll keep it in AB flat. And maybe play a little bit of blues. Let's check it out. same thing in the acoustic guitar mode and the modern style. You can hear these differences. So maybe if you want to cut off some of that noise, whether it's pick noise or string noise, or just cut through the mix more if you're playing in a band situation, the AG setting with a modern style would be a better fit. But there are a lot of tonal choices in here. You can really get pretty surgical with this EQ setting. So as you can see, there are 8 knobs, and I really like that they're white and you can see them in the dark or in dimly lit situations. Let's go left, right, starting with the top row. On your top left there is the bass EQ. All of these EQs give you plus or minus 12 dB, so quite a nice range to work with there in terms of the EQ section. And in the middle, you have the mids, and this is a semi-parametric EQ. So on your right, you've got the frequency sweep, which will allow you to get pretty surgical in whatever you need. And then on the left is the level, which again gives you plus or minus 12 dB. There's a peak indicator LED sandwiched in the middle of the left and mid-level knob there, which can be helpful if you're peaking in your signal. And then all the way to the right, you have your highs. So it's nice that the top row is all dedicated to EQ. So if you need to make a quick adjustment on the fly, you can reach down and you know that left to right, it will cover the bass up through the high frequencies. In the bottom row, to your left, is the gain. There's quite a bit of gain in this pedal. You can use this sparingly. A little will go a long way with this pedal. And then the second one in is the notch filter, and this gives you up to 400 hertz all the way clockwise. As you can see, counterclockwise is off, and then right in the middle is around 90. It's a pretty surgical notch filter if you need to get rid of any feedback that's happening on stage. Then to the right of that is the blend, of course, between the dry and wet signal, and then the master volume to your right. And the LED indicator that's sandwiched in the middle of the notch and the blend knobs, that's essentially the LED that shows you that the pedal is activated. When it's green, it's bypassed or in mute mode, and when it's red, now the process signal is coming through. And then you'll notice a series of switches on either side of the stomp box style switch. To the left is a pretty unique switch that gives you variables between 3 different modes, they call it. The AB is essentially a full range mode. AG, assuming for acoustic guitar, gives you a low end roll off. And then finally at the bottom, that's magnetic for magnetic pickups. To the left of that is a pre and post switch for your DI function. And then on the other side of the stomp box style switch, you've got a mute setting or a bypass. And the mute is to use if you have a tuner in the through jack, which we'll see in a second. And what that will do is mute the pedal but still keep the signal flowing if you want to use your tuner to mute. Or you can set it in bypass mode, which just simply turns the pedal on and off between just your regular amplified signal coming out of your pickup and the processed signal coming out of the acoustic pocket amp. And then finally to the right, we have another unique 3-way switch that changes settings between style. There's a flat style, a modern style, and a vintage. And those are essentially 3 different characters of tone that you can use with different instruments if you choose, or with one instrument to get different settings for songs. Let's take a quick look at the top and the bottom sides of the pedal. To your left, we have your input jack, and that's just a standard 1/4-inch jack input. And you'll also notice a switch that will give you a pad. So that's really nice if you're using multiple instruments on the gig. Then in the middle, we've got 2 1/8-inch jacks. We've got a headphones jack if you want to use this for silent practicing, and then an aux-in jack for whatever that you'd like to connect. And then there's the through jack that will serve as a jack for your tuner, that will feed the signal to your tuner, or to a second source if you want to use a second amp or another effect device. Then on the bottom, you can see this will run on AC power as well as a 9-volt battery. There's the little door for that. And then on the top, there's the DC power out. This just takes a standard 9-volt AC unit and draws 200 milliamps of power. So you want to make sure that you have that on your pedal board power unit. And then there's an effects insert there. And then your out that goes directly to the amp. And then there's also a ground lift switch for the DI out, and then this is a standard XLR balanced out, and then finally a little phase switch. So as you can see, it's packed with quite a few features for a small pedal.